this may just be the most difficult project I've ever taken on. From spending a solid 3 days trying to get a single piston to work correctly, yes, it finally works perfectly, to being called out for lying by my own viewers. All this to make a single piston door I promised to make 8 months ago. But anyway, this is how I made the best 9x9 piston door in Minecraft. But let's start from the beginning, shall we? So around August 2023, I had been doing videos for quite a while at that point. But around this time, I'd also been wanting to try out some different types of content, one being about showcasing some of the really cool stuff that gets made in the redstone community that really doesn't get the recognition it deserves. Like some of these people spend tens of hours perfecting a singular redstone build, making sure each little detail is up to their standard, only for it to either never get posted or it getting like 1,000 views. Like Timmerman, at least post your stuff, come on. But anyway, me being mostly a door redstoner, I wanted to show off some of the cool piston doors made by the piston door community, and the format I chose for this was to showcase the best N×N piston doors, in my opinion at least, from 1x1 to 10x10. With the plan ready, it was time to start picking the doors. 1x1 and 2x2 I quickly put together myself because they were very simple, but for 3x3 and higher I was going to use other people's designs. So picking the doors was actually quite difficult, not because I didn't know any good doors, but because I knew too many good doors. So picking one to be crowned the greatest of them all really wasn't easy. But anyway, this led me to just picking one that was really good, but also giving honorable mentions to doors that are also great, but in their own way. Now this process worked fine, up until the 9x9. I didn't know what to pick. My criteria for picking the doors was the following. It had to be small, fast and survival friendly. And so there was no door that met this criteria. If a door met one of the requirements, then it didn't meet the other. But having to pick one, I went with the fastest 9x9 at 3.05 seconds, made by a Lugia 7. Now, it definitely was fast, I don't think anyone's arguing about that, but it's massive. Yeah, ain't nobody building that in survival. Also, I wasn't even able to get it working in the showcase for whatever reason. Then funnily enough, the door I chose for the 10x10 was faster than the 9x9 at only 1.8 seconds. Made by me, but we don't talk about that. Yeah, the difference between the 9x9 and the 10x10 pretty much shows the new meta for fast piston doors, that being slime and honey spam, which in and of itself is quite a controversial topic in the redstone community, but that's another topic for another video. But anyway, now I had all of the doors picked. And yeah, one kind of stands out, like a tiny bit. And because I felt like we were due for a new and a faster 9x9, I said this. If this video gets 20k likes, I'll make an actually good 9x9. Now, was that a mistake? I don't know, you tell me. Yeah, the video kind of blew up, which was good, but for me wanting to work on other projects, not so much. But I did have to start working on a piston layout for the door, since I did promise I would make it. Okay, let's look at the options for what I could do. So in my fastest 10x10, I use slime and honey extenders like this to pull the blocks, right? Each side has to pull 5 blocks. Now let's say I did that for the 9x9 as well. One side would still have to retract 5 blocks, and the other side can be simpler, having to only retract 4. So using this concept, the door would be the same speed as the 10x10, and that's not good enough. Another option is to yoink a layout. Like my friend Jensen does have this 1.35 second 9x9 oh god. Yeah, no, I'm not doing that. I mean, it still could be a cool door, but like, you know, I also want it to be at least somewhat small. Well, I guess I'll have to make my own layout then. One of my first ideas was to still use slime and honey, but instead of pulling the blocks with it, I would push the blocks from one side and then pull the rest from the other. Similar to what Timmerman 8 had done in his 1.2 second 7x7. But there was only one problem.
The push limit.
Yeah, in Minecraft you can only push 12 blocks, and when one row is already 9 blocks, you run into issues pretty quickly. Anyway, after a bit of testing, I found out that it would be most optimal to have a quadruple or 4 piston extension on the pusher side, and a quintuple or 5 piston extender on the side that pulls the blocks. The quintuple would take the longest, and with a folded piston extender like this, it would take 1.5 seconds, which is only 0.15 seconds slower than the concept layout by Jensen, so I would be happy with that if I was able to make it small. On the pusher side, to avoid push limit, I only use 3 sticky blocks, basically slime or honey, and I do an extra extension here, so that it's actually a quadruple extension. And because it's not a normal folded move like the others, it adds an extra 0.15 seconds here, but it's fine because it normally would take 1.35 seconds, so adding 0.15 seconds just makes it 1.5 seconds, which is the speed of the quintuple anyways, so it works out. And there are no issues with the inputs to the pistons, because I can have a dust cross here that powers the pistons through the wall. But the puller side? I don't know what to call it. It's a bit more difficult. To actually get the slime and honey into place to retract the blocks, it needs to do the extensions after the pusher, so that it can slide across the blocks instead of sticking to them. And also there is this move where the pusher has done the full quadruple extension, and it still needs to move one further. So to fix that, I had to take some inspiration from the fastest 10x10 and push the blocks up so that it can be moved once more. Okay, nice. And now we just retract can you please just retract? Oh, push limit. Right. So I need to remove one block. But how? Now that might not seem like that big of an issue, like just retract the block in any of these places. Now, sure, that would work for the layout, but not so much for the inputs. Like you need inputs here, here, and here. They are just non-negotiables, like there is no other way of reaching the necessary distance. So this meant that I would have to retract the block at least once before pulling it to the side. And sure, something like this works, but how do you power pistons here now? Well, I guess just with an observer here. Okay, well that works for retracting the quintuple, but when extending it, the observers can only be put in place at the time it's supposed to power, but observers aren't obviously instant. So yeah, that doesn't really work. Yeah, I didn't know what to do. I actually had no idea where to go from there. Though still, I felt like there had to be a way to get that layout working. But at the time, the video hadn't even reached 20k likes, so it wasn't really my first priority. So to get my mind off of it, I decided to work on a project I had long abandoned. That being the fastest 6x6 cave door. And I was also studying for a big exam in school, so the video on that also took quite long. And during this time, the 1x1 to 10x10 video had also reached 20k likes. So after months of waiting for a new video, people weren't too happy seeing anything other than the 9x9. Which is honestly fair. I get where you guys were coming from. Yeah, sorry about that. Okay, but anyway, now with the 6x6 done, and with the exam over, it was time to lock in and actually get that 9x9 done, no matter how long it took. So again, the problem was removing the block without making the inputs impossible. One pretty goofy idea I had was to use the slime and honey double piston extenders with redstone blocks like this. And as silly as it was, there were no issues. But just to make sure, I made a playback of the layout working, using Game for Use capture and playback mod. Also, I don't want to spoil the animation quite yet. Oh yeah, I also had to make it close, so I used this, which was kind of scuffed, but it worked, and it was relatively easy to wire. But yeah, there were no issues. I mean, the closing takes quite long to reset, but there wasn't really anything I could do about that. So remember when I said that there were no issues about 5 seconds ago? Yeah, I lied. The entire sequence was unusable because of one input. When I wanted to power these pistons through this block, I couldn't, because the blocks would have to move first, and you cannot power anything through moving blocks. This one very small and easily missable oversight made it so I needed to redo most of it. And so it was back to the drawing board. Okay, let me just spoil the solution, because I'm getting sick of explaining my thought process. So I have extra observers here that I used to power these pistons in the place I couldn't before. And then I just retract the observers and do a few extra pulses to kind of juggle the pistons so that they are ready to be retracted again. It's really scuffed, but it worked surprisingly well. Especially since I could now make the layout on this side simpler, as in not needing those huge slime and honey double piston extenders and redstone blocks. Then I also made a new closing circuit that also made the closing considerably faster. With everything in place, I made one final playback to make sure everything was working. Also, doing these playbacks might look like a fast process, since I'm only like showing the tests. But no, making one of these takes like 2 hours. So yeah, not that fast. But anyway, it did work, which I was very relieved about. Although I was kind of bothered by the closing having this ugly move in between that also made it slower. So I revamped the closing, for like the 3rd time now, to make it maxed, but this made it so that I had to get 3 blocks from the top to the bottom that were going to get pushed up during the opening. So you know what that means? Okay, most likely you don't, but feed tape time! Alright, so I'm over 36 hours in, and I think I finally have a layout and inputs that actually work. 36 hours! Just for the layout. Okay, hopefully wiring won't take as long. Right? Alright, so when starting to wire a massive door like this, one of the most time-consuming things is just figuring out how you're going to wire everything. Where you're going to fit all of the pulses, which pulses can you connect together, which inputs can you clock, and stuff like that. For example, I have these pistons that I'm able to attach to a dual-sided zero-tick clock where the pulses are 3 game ticks apart. And this already does a considerable amount of the pulses needed. It's stuff like this that makes some of these bigger builds even doable in a small size. But admittedly, it does take some experience to figure out when it's possible to use them. Alright, so I began by making the piston feed tape because I knew if I got it out of the way first, I wouldn't have to worry about it later. Which was indeed the case. Alright, nice. Also, fun fact, I use a snake burst extender here, which basically works by spamming pulses here, and it just automatically does the sequence. Which is quite cool, I think. And I think this might just be the first speed-optimized door to use a snake burst extender, but I'm not sure. And then it was time to actually start working on closing. Oh, never mind, here comes the mod recommendation of the month, which is totally a thing. By the way, I started to use this mod called Readn, and with it you can do this. Which is like so useful. Like, I have found it so freaking useful already. Like, it just instantly lets you just undo what you just did. And that is so useful when doing redstone. Okay, holy crap, this mod is actually so useful. Because like I accidentally broke a block here. And I didn't notice that there was an observer there. And now it fucked up quite a lot of these blocks. And I would have to do all of that manually. But now I can just do that. That saves so much time. Like, you guys don't even get it. Okay, now it's time to do the closing. So right here I'm only doing the visible part of the closing, which makes it look like I'm doing pretty fast progress, right? But that is like a fourth of the pulses needed. And that's because I need to do a whole septuple or 7 piston extender after that to reset the piston extender that I use for closing. And when you also have a slime and honey quintuple piston extender that you need to leave space for at the same time, yeah, wiring it can be quite difficult. One more pulse. But yeah, there is just a lot of pulses that need to be wired, yo. So as to not bore you and me with editing, I will just speed up through most of it. Yo, it closes. Because it is really boring, to be honest. It's just me wiring a pulse, then testing it with tick freeze and tick step, which are in vanilla Minecraft now, by the way. And then wiring in something else and repeating the process. So yeah, really nothing that interesting when you can't even see anything like in the actual door. It is just reset. So yeah. Okay, and does it stay there? It does. Oh my god, finally. Only one more pulse and then I'm done with closing. Yeah, that's good. Oh my god, it finally closes. I mean, the reset is pretty horrible. Like, you have to wait like 3 seconds after the door has closed. There's like really nothing I can do about that. And the wiring is so dense, I'm actually pretty happy about that. And I should have enough space to do the rest of the pulses. I did account for those. I mean, there isn't, yeah, a lot of space to do them. Hopefully it works out. It should. Maybe. Maybe not. Could not, just, yeah. Yeah, here's what a part of the reset looks like. Yeah, it was really bad to wire. Okay, and then it was time to do the opening. Clock. There honestly isn't that much to talk about, at least for a while here. It's just me doing a few pulses, testing them, stuff that you've already seen. So let me go off topic for a bit. So I've been thinking about making a second channel where I post like explanations for my doors that are just like really long, because that's just the nature of doing explanations for these piston doors. But yeah, I would like to do that on a second channel because it's like not entertaining to most people in the slightest. But for people wanting to learn redstone, I feel like that could be like really useful. Because I don't want to go too in depth in these more showcase type videos, because it's like, yeah, it's very boring to most people and difficult to understand if you don't know the basics. But I think some people could find them interesting and or helpful. Yo, wait, that's actually very good. So yeah, let me know if you're interested. What? Oh, yeah. Anyway, I was making pretty good progress on the 9x9, like all things considered. Yo, that is very good. Like everything was going to plan. Yo, that's good. Until this happened. Oh, that's not as good. Now, I was not expecting that to happen like in the slightest. Like, I was not prepared to deal with that. Like, I thought the door just might be impossible now. But fortunately there was an easy fix. But let's just say that this wasn't the last time things wouldn't go to plan. Gotta love some goofy temporary wiring. Oh. Yep. And now that's ready to do the last pulse. Okay, hopefully it works now. I didn't do thick freeze, but that seemed fine. And then I did some locationality and directionality testing. I can't exactly remember why I did it right here, but there were no issues, so that was good. That's actually huge. Holy. Whoa, what happened? I did not think this was possible to break this badly, but I guess I was wrong. Wait. Wait! Holy sh... Wait, that actually works? What? I can't believe that. Look at this wiring. It's so dense. It is... There's literally no air in here. How did I do that? What? I know it's just one more pulse, but like that is insane, like genuinely. Sometimes my genius is. It's almost frightening. Also nice recording, OBS. Alrighty, let's see if the thing I made works or if it doesn't work. Both are very possible scenarios. No? Yeah, it didn't work. This is also a pulse that I thought was gonna be like very easy, but no, it wasn't really. I spent like 10 hours on this. Yeah, it was pretty painful. I don't want you to do that. Why are you clocking? What the f... Nope. That works! Finally! Oh my god. That pulse was so bad. Like, actually. Okay, let's hope that there are no more pulses that make me regret my life decisions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13, 14, 15, 16. Yeah, so fun fact. 17, here 18, I just forget that number 12 exists. I just forget it each time. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. I count this like 7 or 8 times, I don't know how many, and I just forget to count 12. Don't ask how. I mean, I could say that like it's not my first language. 12, 13, 14, but still, it should not. Yeah. Imagine if it worked. Okay, sure, fair enough. Oh my fucking god, this door is so cursed. Why does... What the f... But that was so satisfying, I'm not gonna lie. Oh my god, that is so nice. That is so incredibly nice, it's not even funny. Yo, that works. Oh, that's perfect. Yo. Yep, that works. Bro, 4.57 days. That is over 109 hours. Over 100 hours. I have worked on this 9x9. Like, the amount of effort that I've actually put into this door is genuinely insane. I hope you guys appreciate it. I don't think that works. Yeah, it does. Oh my god. Just look at that. That is beautiful. We're so close. Oh my god. Yes! Yeah, so I was pretty happy to see the whole frame open. But there was only one tiny issue. Yeah, this piston. Which may or may not have been the one that took me 3 days to get working. yeah, it was not fun to figure out, like actually. I don't think the closing should be taking this long, honestly. How does it break like that? I genuinely don't understand how it's even able to break that badly. I do changes in this corner and it manages to do this. Yeah. In hell, dude. Please, I just wanna get this done. Like, is that too much to ask for? Okay, now it should actually work. It's gonna work. It is literally going to work. Yes! Yes! Oh my god! It still wasn't perfect on closing, but I did fix that. Yes! It finally works perfectly! Oh my f***ing god! Time played 5.63 days. 135 hours. I was honestly so glad to be done with this. I mean, I am really proud of it, and it is like my best door by far, but building it did kind of take a toll on me. Anyway, here are some clean renders of the door if you're interested, and with that, thanks for watching. Next video hopefully in less than 1.5 months. Okay, bye.